Open the February 20th meeting of the Wakefield Conservation Commission. We'll take roll call. Ken.
Here.
And Ken, I did make you the co-host.
Okay.
I don't see Haley yet. I don't see Jim yet. Paul.
Yes, here.
Peter.
Here.
Ressa.
Here.
Don't swear.
All right, first up, minutes of February 6th. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I have two slight changes to those minutes.
Okay.
On the first page, about under Fort Biggs Court, first, second, third, fourth, fifth paragraph. Peter's last name has an extra S, has an S on it. And then two paragraphs below then, there's an extra would. It said Mr. Luciani would does not agree, and I think that would is just an extra word. I know Judy put those in just to make sure we were reading the minutes carefully, so thank you, Judy, for doing that.
Any other corrections? Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the minutes as amended by Teresa?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Paul,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. Oh, sorry, Ken,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. All right, there is an announcement to start DEP 313631. That would be 94 Butler Ave. Has been postponed at the applicant's request to March 19th. If there's anybody here for 94 Butler Ave, it has been postponed per the applicant's request to March 19th. Okay, next up. First on the other business, we have open space and rec plan. Judy.
Yes. Did you have any comments, edits on the draft?
Not on this version.
That's the version, the most recent version.
Yeah, my edits from prior one were in there.
Okay.
I thought it was very well done and very comprehensive, Judy.
Yeah, I think they did a great job.
Yeah, they definitely did.
So they're just finalizing things now with the final edits. I had sent them a couple things, but it's on the final draft.
Judy, how is this different from the prior one in terms of goals and objectives?
Um,
I was just going to ask that same question, Teresa.
Hey, I was too.
Yeah, alrighty. No,
I think it has a different, whole different direction than the last one. It's more comprehensive. And the goals are more sustainability based and trying to rein in some of the tax title properties. That was a big thing to try to create these conservation areas that are outlined in the plan. So trying to give a more spotlight on the few areas that we have left and try to preserve them in that way, trying to get those parcels transferred over to the care and custody of the commission.
and Judy, can I ask you a question? How we hired an outside title attorney, right, to do title searches for some of the tax.
Correct.
Do
Yes,
you know how that is going?
he may be completely done or just about done. So that's the second item on the agenda, I think, is about the tax title properties.
Okay, because they mentioned that in the plan, right?
Right,
The fact that was being done, that's all. Yeah.
right. So if you don't have any comments, then I'll just let them know that it's all set for the final draft.
Do we talk about the
trying to make that contiguous, the emerald necklace?
Yeah, that's part of the tax title properties.
Okay,
Make it a contiguous strip.
to make it contiguous, and it talks
Correct.
about okay, good, good,
Mhm.
good, good.
And that's the list that I sent you, that which was the wish list that Rebecca put together from the tax title properties, were all areas that were either abutting or adjacent to the conservation areas and trails. So it was things that made sense for the Conservation Commission to ask that they be transferred to them.
Judy, are most of those vacant land too?
Yes, they're all vacant.
Yeah,
They're all vacant. Okay.
vacant and wooded for the most
Yes.
part.
Seems like it would make a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of ledge in there too.
Yes.
Yeah, which isn't going to get developed
Well, we thought
unless
that,
you happen to be an EMT and, feel you got to do that.
yeah, I mean, there's, yeah, lots of places in Wakefield that at one point were thought to be undevelopable are,
Yeah.
Right. So I think that was
Well,
the
that's-
idea, trying to get them, provide some type of protection before it's too late. And also to provide more areas, more natural habitat areas, enhance the trail areas, things like that. So it's not only about protecting it from development, it's the function that it can serve by remaining open.
I'm sorry to ask another question, but do we talk about we get this all the time where someone makes an offer to the town to buy a piece of property. And then we have our, we get all exercised about it. And because we don't know what the criteria are. In other words, we've had this in the past where someone makes an offer for the property and we think that there's no, rather than sort of, you got to have a good reason to sell it. It's almost like you have to show a good reason not to sell it.
Right. So what's your, I don't understand your question.
No, I just didn't know whether that was something that would be, I just was thinking about, I mean, I'm sorry, of course, the 11th hour, but no, I was just thinking about the idea that open space that's controlled by the town is sufficiently rare that there should be, should be a compelling reason to sell it and not
Right.
and not just sounds like pretty good deal, price is right kind of thing.
I mean, it's often looked at as tax revenue.
Yeah, that it shouldn't be for revenue. I guess that would be the right thing to
Right.
say. It shouldn't be for the revenue. It should be because of the, that it serves some important other non-revenue purpose for the town.
Well, are you interested in adding some sort of statement in the open space plan that references that?
Would that become a policy though? Would that
No, it
have?
wouldn't be a policy. It would just be a statement that this is another reason why we think these open spaces should be protected, or another way that they should be protected.
Another way is
No, there's
that-
a process now that the town council follows, but
Right.
maybe helpful to have a statement like that.
Yeah, yeah. So sort of like, yeah.
Otherwise, we don't know, right, until afterward, if they're, like, did we get consulted? If,
Well, I think that's the process that, when a request comes in, town council sends it around to the board.
okay,
Right, but there ought to be something that would be I guess my hope would be that it's just not viewed as in isolation as an economic deal. Is the price, is it a good price, versus it should be, does it serve a compelling reason? Actually, is there a compelling non-economic reason to sell the property? That
Right. Well,
that
what about-
overrides the importance of maintaining open space in Wakefield, that supersedes that.
I think it's fair to include that as a policy or at least as a statement in this plan.
Yeah,
Yeah, because this just happened so many times over the years where someone just says, hey, and we just wonder whether, we just don't know. It just, we just wonder whether there's a 50-50 shot that it'll be sold.
right. I'll come up with some wording and maybe I'll try to tie it into, the tax title properties and that transfer and why that's important.
Right. And maybe, and it wouldn't be unreasonable to talk about, that, I mean, the statement I'm making is especially true for undeveloped property.
Right. No, I understand. I.
Obviously, if there's a house on the residence on the property and the town takes it for taxes, then that's not a,
Right. But with the ever increasing open spaces, it's even more.
ever decreasing open spaces.
Decreasing, yeah. They're not increasing.
Yeah, we don't want to
Yes.
get that word
I
wrong.
mean, I was mentioning increasing development, issues, yeah. With
Yeah.
the decreasing spaces, it makes it even more critical that we protect what we have.
Right.
I mean, and it'll be the same reasoning that we usually give for flood storage, ecological, diversity, biodiversity,
Mhm.
wildlife habitat. And also for what an open space provides to the
Mhm.
town in general.
Right.
Open space is a huge marketing tool to have in a town.
Well, that's right. And I just don't want there to be, well, we got a good price. It should be that there's a compelling reason other than the revenue from the sale to sell the
Right.
property.
I agree.
That would override the obvious desire to maintain as much open space as we can.
Right, right. I'll put something together and send it around.
In some of those open spaces, but parks, like Maple Way,
Mhm. Right.
or connect to Maple Way and create a wildlife corridor, and also have wetlands on them.
Right.
Anything else on the open space and rec plan?
No, Bob, I'd like to get off for just a minute and call Jim. The reason that a lot of these items were on the agenda was because I had spoken with Jim last week and he wanted to discuss these particular things, and I noticed he's not on tonight.
Yeah,
So I spoke with him
Elaine,
this afternoon.
I'll give him a quick call right now.
Yeah, I
Okay.
sent him the link because he called me, he didn't have the link, so I sent it to him a few minutes ago.
Oh, good.
So all right, so these were all the things he wanted to discuss, and that's why they wound up on the revised agenda. So maybe we could talk about some of these other things until he gets on.
Sure.
Okay.
The tree removal, that's the property you looked at last week, Elaine? You can
Yes,
cover that one.
I sent you a photograph. Did you?
Yeah,
Okay, so in addition to the photograph, I have a letter here from Keith Tree. And
What's the address of that, Elaine?
23 Montrose Ave.
Okay.
so I have a letter here from Keith's Tree. And what he says is, this letter is in reference to your proposal and the tree assessed in the proposal. The maple at the end of the driveway has weak crotches with included bark, indicating interior rot, dead limbs and broken hanging limbs. It also leans towards the house. So that's his assessment, and it's not really easy to tell in the photograph, but the lower limbs of this tree are dying. The upper crown looks okay, but the lower limbs, whatever rot it is, it's working its way up.
Yeah, I can see it's compromised right here. It looks like it's opened up for the first, whatever, 6-7 feet.
Yes, and if you go up a little bit higher, those bottom limbs are dead. And then it's not until you get about 2/3 of the way up that the limbs start being healthy. So it's about 30 feet from the wetland. The bottom limbs are dying, the top limbs are okay. There you go.
What type of
So
tree did you
that's the
say?
situation. I'm sorry, what?
Did you say it was a maple?
Red maple, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it definitely appears to be compromised, and the arborist letter is confirmed that, as have you.
Okay. So, so then, you're okay with its removal?
Yeah, I'm okay. Does anybody else have a concern or an issue?
Nope.
Is this a specific agenda item? Because I don't see it on the version I downloaded.
Tree removal.
Tree
under
removal,
discussions?
yeah.
No,
I think,
oh,
I
the
think it-
updated version I downloaded this afternoon doesn't have anything except Butler Ave and other business. Open.
Elaine sent it to us over the weekend, Paul.
There's an amended one on the website too.
Last
I'm
one. on
looking
the
at the amended one on the website now, and I've got the same deal. It's got 94 Butler postponed, and then open space and long-term goals.
And then
That's it.
discussions. Do you have discussions?
Nope,
Well,
nothing.
again, Elaine sent it to us again over the weekend.
Yeah,
On the
I just
weekend?
printed it from the website. That's weird. Are you going to the Concom page or the town calendar page?
Concom.
Go to the town calendar page. And
You
look
mean
at
our agenda on the website isn't accurate, huh?
so, forgive me, this is the first week I'm doing this. But I sent an agenda to Sherry at the town administrative office. Then I spoke to Jim on Friday and I sent her a revised.
Right. You sent that to
Email.
us too, Elaine.
Okay, so the revised should be should be on the town website. As a matter of fact, I saw revised. So I
Yeah,
know
I-
she.
It says amended,
There's
but,
two of them there, right, Haley? You looking right now? There should be two agendas.
yeah, there was the initial one and then the amended one.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the amended one has it.
that's what I printed out. Amended today at 8:33.
Yeah, I sent it to her Friday. She would have posted it first thing this morning.
Yep.
Okay. So, so you all, did you get the email from me? I'm just checking
not.
because I sent it
I
to
did not.
Concom.
Yes, Elaine, I did.
I did.
I didn't.
You all did.
Nope.
All right. So some of you got it and some of you didn't.
Yep.
What's that? Well, you sent it on Friday night, Elaine?
I sent it on, no, I would have sent it either on Friday night or Saturday
Yeah, I
afternoon.
think you sent it on Saturday. Hold on.
Elaine, I noticed you might be using an old list because
I'm
I
begin,
saw
okay.
Frank is on the list. I'm looking at it now. Frank was on that email. And Haley and Paul were not on that email.
Okay, all right. You know what I did? I sent it to Concom distribution, assuming that it was updated when Rebecca left, that
No.
she'd been using it all along.
And Sylvana's on there, yeah.
Okay, so next time I send it out, my apologies to those of you that weren't on the list. I've made an assumption. And I will update the list, so you'll all get it, what you should be getting next time I send something out to the entire commission.
You know what? There is something strange going on with the link because there's two different ways to access it, and one of them has the correct agenda.
See,
I will share that.
you sit here. No, I'm not gonna sit there. You sit there. No, everyone's waiting for you. You're on.
I don't know why I couldn't get on it.
That's all right.
That's
All right.
I think I've configured it so it's going through the speakers now. So that's
Haley
good.
and Paula, can you see this agenda?
Is someone there?
Yeah.
Yes, and I got it up on
They should
my
be able to
end
hear you.
now too.
You guys hear this okay?
Where did
Yeah,
you
no
get that from, Bob?
I just forwarded it to
Town
you, Paul.
website, if
Yeah.
you click on, hang on, I got too many things.
Are they having trouble? Someone else having trouble getting on?
No,
Oh. How come I can't see anyone? Oh, here we are.
What are you doing?
I want to see everyone.
Oh,
I just muted Peter and Jim. So Paul, or
Yeah.
if you go to the Town of Wakefield website on the right side and click on conservation on the calendar for today, not on the calendar, but to the right.
All right, let me get back to it.
So under upcoming meetings. says
Yes.
Conservation, February 20th, just click on that link. And not on the calendar itself.
Enough doing.
That will bring you to the proper amended 0202, 0220.
Thanks.
Elaine, you have Paul's and Haley's email address, right?
I'm sure I must. You know what? You want to just give it to me now so that we're all set for the next time. Paul, would you give me your email address? I'm sure Rebecca has it, but I'll just make sure. Can you give me your email address?
Sure, it's P Wendelgass, PWENDLGASS
On the microphone.
@gmail.com. Just first initial, last name at Gmail.
WENDL.
No, EL.
That's what I thought.
DELGASS.
Okay,
at
and
Gmail.
at gmail.com. And who else don't I have?
Haley.
Hi,
Haley, could you give me your,
it's
Your
hmcatton824@gmail. So
I'm
H.
sorry, it's too fast. Can you say it
Yeah,
again?
no, I'm gonna spell it for you. HMCHATTON824 @gmail.
HMCHATTON824 @gmail.com.
Perfect.
Okay, all right, thanks. Okay, so we'll get that updated for the next meeting.
All right, so back to the tree situation at Montrose. So it is compromised, diseased, or whatever, and the arborist letter confirms that, as does Elaine. So I don't see any reason, not to have it removed. With our current tree policy, we did include language about diseased or compromised trees. I don't have a copy of that readily available. Are we requiring a replacement for that type of situation?
So every time I go to the site,
Oh,
every time I go to one of these site visits, I bring a copy of the tree policy with me.
okay.
So he has,
Elaine, do you have your phone and your computer going?
That was me, sorry.
Oh. All right. All right, so then they have the current policy. Ken, do you have a hard copy of that readily available to check?
Hard copy of the tree policy?
Yeah, the
Yes.
current one that we revised.
I'll look for it. Hold on a second, please.
I know we put some language in there about compromised, diseased trees, and I don't recall if we required any type of replacement for those.
Did you guys amend it again in January
Yes.
while I was away? Okay, I don't have that version.
I have it with me. Hold on.
You email that to me, Elaine?
Yes.
Would be helpful to have it.
Okay.
Basically, the way I read the older one prior to whatever amendments you did in January, it says each live tree 6 inches in diameter or greater shall be replaced by.
Right, we amended that to add language about compromised or diseased.
Okay.
Because they would still be technically alive,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, this one clearly is, for example.
yeah, or half alive.
Compromised trees up there.
Compromise trees, here it is. Yep.
May require replacement.
Where are you? What page?
Second page?
Tree
Looks like
subject
that's Page 2 of the
Grass.
policy, yeah.
mitigation replacement ratio snags. I'm sorry, I can't find it. Can you give me
Can you-
more guidance?
Look at the screen.
Can you please-
He has it up.
Okay, that's, I didn't realize. I see. Okay, interesting, and healthy trees. Okay,
So this tree is, you said roughly 30 feet from the wetlands,
This is the monitor.
yes,
Identical.
and is it providing any
Because I'm thinking,
uh shade or anything to the wetland?
at 30 feet, it's providing some shade. Yeah, it would, depending on the angle of the sun.
Kind of looked like it was in the side of the yard all by itself.
Yeah.
Well, it's 30 feet away to the wetland.
Right, but there's no
It
other.
also
trees
has,
around
which also has trees in it.
Hey Ken, can you switch over to Google Maps real quick? Call up the lot.
What's the address? I didn't get the emails.
34 Montrose.
20
23 Montrose. Yeah.
Yeah. All I see on the agenda is tree removal, no specific address. So 23 Montrose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Elaine, is the tree in the backyard at the end of the driveway?
It is.
Okay. I've got it on my screen.
Actually, I have it now too.
Okay, looks like you do.
Hope Ken's got it also.
Yeah, I went to Street View. So it's that large canopy straight at the end of the driveway.
It would be, yes, because the tree is at the end of the driveway.
There it is.
There it is.
Yep.
I think
That
it's
one. Yep.
the red one there. Yep.
The red one or the tree with no leaves on it?
Oh, you're right. It's the
It's
one,
dead
it's the
ahead,
one at
dead
the end of the
center.
driveway. That
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be-
You
Yep.
can actually see the trunk with the
Yeah, if
crease
you
in it.
zoom, you can see the split
Yeah,
right there. Yep.
I mean, my thought is we're okay without replication in this case. Based on where it's currently located.
Distance to the wetland.
Yeah, it's the furthest one away. And there's plenty of surrounding trees.
It'll
There
probably
any-
allow some of those to expand.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody else have an opinion?
The policy says that we just have to, replacement could be in our discretion. Doesn't say anything about, instead of replacement to a contribution, right?
Right.
whose house is that? You know the owner's name?
DeCola.
Oh, Decola? Okay.
All right, so anybody else have an opinion on this one?
Agree.
All right, so we have two,
Yeah, I agree as well.
all
I
right,
agree as
3,
well.
4, 4
Yeah.
confirmed out with no replacement.
It's fine.
Okay. Um. So we need to send a note or a letter to the homeowner.
Well, homeowner is here tonight also.
Okay,
That's correct. I am joining in.
okay. So Nick DeCola, yes, so you can take the tree down without any type of replacement or preparation for that tree.
Okay, sounds
And we'll-
good. Thank you.
And we'll have Elaine send a note, a letter to you confirming that.
All right,
Yeah.
sounds good.
All right,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. All right, Jim, you got any particular order you want to tackle? We did
No.
talk about open space and rec plan already.
Yeah, do you have any comments, Jim, on the?
Wait a minute, what did you
draft?
say about open space?
Do you have any comments?
You
on
like
the
it, we're
draft?
for it.
Yeah,
For it, yeah.
I'm halfway through it, to tell you the truth. There's quite a bit of information there. I don't even have anything in front of me now. I don't have anything I can say right now. The one thing I would like to say is, how close is it to being completed?
It's just about done. They're just waiting for your comments, final comments, and
Okay.
then put it ready for the presentations to planning board and town council.
Okay. Well, let me see. Well, this ties into some other things that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking once the open space plan is completed, we should, let me see, let me look at my notes. Hold on. Okay, well, let me speak under long-term goals, all right? Because I got most of my stuff is under that. And I would like to finish reading. It's like 72 pages. And once you start looking at the charts and the graphs and stuff like that, we just try to figure out how they got some of their, I'm not challenging the numbers, I'm just wondering how they determine some of that stuff, because like some of the categories they have, it seems like they would be just the opposite. But I'm sure that's just the way I'm looking at it. But I need a little time to, probably to the next meeting, I'd be ready for sure. Is that all right?
I guess, if that's what you want.
Or does it, well,
I
does
thought,
no
well,
one- does anyone else?
I thought it'd be ready for, because no one else had comments on it, that's why.
All right, well, then never mind. If no one's
No, you can still send comments. No, just, I don't have to, I told them I'd get back to them when there are comments. No, that's
Yeah.
fine. No, if you've got, you still reading it, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Do you want to know anything else now?
Well, you said something about long-term goals.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that where we stand now with Steve and everything. We had all those vacant pieces of land that Rebecca was tabulating for us, right? And I think she said to me that she had them all. We had gotten back from the lawyer, the results on all the parcels,
Okay.
you know.
I
what's
didn't know he
passed
was
there.
done. Okay.
So
Yeah, so now the commission can put together a list. There was a list that I sent all of you on a spreadsheet of all the properties that are adjacent to conservation areas or trails.
Okay, but I thought the problem was that Steve wanted to look them over. before he.
Right, right. He was reviewing the titles. Once they did the title search, then he was
Okay.
reviewing the titles. So I mean,
So-
I haven't heard anything about where that's at. I assumed it was close to done. So I
So
think-
we should probably, Elaine should probably ask Steve where he is with this, because I think that leads into a lot of other things like,
Well, I think it wouldn't stop if the commission wants to issue a letter saying these are the properties we'd like to see transferred to the care and custody of the commission. Whether it's completed the review or not, I think the commission could still put that letter together now.
okay, but how do we know which ones we're gonna want?
I sent you a list, a spreadsheet.
Okay,
It's attached with the plan.
how many parcels were there then?
How many total parcels were there?
Yeah, yeah. And how many,
I don't
how
know
many
off
did
the
you
top
put
of
on
my
the
head. There were a
list?
lot of them, but some of
A lot.
yeah, some of them made more sense to stay with DPW or the school. They weren't all for the Conservation Commission. The ones that were targeted were adjacent to conservation areas, to the existing trails, the areas that made sense.
Okay,
So where it
Okay.
says Conservation Commission on that list, Judy, is that a recommendation? That's not where those
Correct.
parcels reside
That's correct.
now.
Yes.
Okay.
Can someone pull up that list so Jim can get a sense of the number of properties?
well, I can look at it, I can look at it later unless you're really interested in it. Okay, well, I guess we'll let that go for now. Well, if that's the way it's gonna be, that's fine, so we'll put together, is that something you want us to review?
Well, I think you could look at the list and see if you agree with the
Okay.
properties that are on there. And then if you do, then a letter could go out to town council requesting that they be, once the title is cleared, that they be
Yeah.
transferred to the care and custody of the commission.
Okay,
So Judy, a couple of things. Once the title is clear, who's gonna clear the title?
The attorney that they hired to review them.
It's gonna clear the title? That they're doing a title report.
Right.
I don't think they're gonna clear the title. They're gonna
Well,
tell,
right. I meant
they're gonna tell you what
right.
title there
I
is.
just meant to make sure there are no roadblocks like outstanding probate, anything like that.
Okay.
okay. All right, so as far as the open space plan goes, I think, once we have that, we need to have, I think this is right, we need to have the town council endorse it, is that correct, Elaine?
In the planning board, yes.
In the planning board, so we want to do that right away, I would think.
Right. And presentations have to be made to both. That's a
Okay,
little ways down the road. And the consultant's gonna help with that.
okay, and as far as we're concerned, I thought it would be good for us to, looking through that open space plan, there's a lot of information about what's really in bad shape and what's in, the condition of areas. So I would think that we could probably implement some type of like, maybe we should pick a trail, right, and provide and finish it, like take and go through the recommendations that they gave for the area. I don't know if they gave a report on, how accessible it was and stuff like that. Well, I know they did. So we could pick a trail. I'm just giving this out as an example, just to get something going in some direction. We pick a trail, we make sure the trail is all up to date, make sure it's signed, make sure there's parking spaces for people. If there isn't, find out how we can get parking spaces in there. Or even if it's possible to put any parking spaces. But I think cost is probably gonna be an issue at some point. So I think that, instead of going town-wide, trying to do a little here and a little there, wouldn't you think it would be a good idea to try to put our efforts into one thing at a time and see if we have some success with it and see how it gets used?
Well, I think the signage could probably be undertaken all at once because there aren't that many trails. Reedy
Yeah.
Meadow already has a sign.
Yeah,
A couple of other trails could have signage made, and then they could have QR codes that would link to the town webpage, because what I'm hoping is it'll be an interactive theme so that you could click on a parcel and it will tell you exactly where it is, the distance, what
Okay.
amenities are there, things like that.
You've got that going? You've got someone
In my
working?
head.
What?
In my head, I have it going.
Yeah, I saw the wheels turning there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, that's as far as that's as far as I have for right now. I do think, I do have some questions for everyone. Are we still talking about trying to, well, Elaine, you can probably answer this. As far as the budget goes, they've approved the budget, right? Because I think I read somewhere where they put it back to the, it's like they level funded it almost, right? Did you read that anywhere?
I saw that in the minutes. I don't
Okay.
have a copy of the budget itself, but I did see it. Oh, where did I see it? Hold on.
The Finance Committee hasn't voted yet. I
Right,
mean,
the town council voted on it ages ago. But,
Right.
we were at the meeting when that he voted on it.
Right.
I saw somewhere where they just made it the same as it was before,
Well,
That's from
without
the
the
minutes.
changes that Rebecca put on it.
but
That-
for
that
next
happened
year,
at the- Yeah, at the meeting. Jimmy, I'm confused. What is your question? What did the town council vote on their budget or on Steve
Well,
Mayor's
no.
budget or our budget?
Well, they haven't, no one's come to us saying that here's the revised budget. Somewhere one of the town councilors recommended setting it back to the original amount. I think that's where it is,
so they voted 4-3 to level fund.
to level fund. There you go.
Well, there was a slight increase for, whatever it
Okay.
was, but,
We were at that meeting, Jimmy.
Okay,
right.
no, I know that.
So
But
we're looking to get next year's
Right,
revised, which is gonna end up at town meeting.
Right. So we
But
have until March 1st to submit a letter, basically showing our budget and saying we would like to have our budget on the town warrant. So we have to send a letter to the town council by March 1st.
well,
Saying,
that's something we need to think about right away then.
yes, exactly. When that email was sent, right, Judy, you had sent that email. I said we need to get that letter and we could talk about it tonight. So we should, and I can prepare that letter if you want to see it, and I'll just attach the budget that Rebecca prepared and say we want to put this on the, and again, on the town warrant,
Okay,
for the town, meeting on, April 29th.
okay,
And then by then, well, even before we know how the finance committee voted, so that way we just, we have it on the warrant and we can talk about it at the town meeting.
okay. All right,
So I can prepare that letter and I'll send it out to you guys.
were you going to send anything to the Finance Committee or no?
well, see, this is the thing. I talked to someone in the finance committee. And what they said what this person said they were looking for was some statistical analysis of showing how the job has expanded to need a full-time employee. Now, Ken mentioned to me today that the document that he put together comparing all the towns kind of shows you, which it does, that everyone is around us has a full-time agent. But I know one of the answers from the finance committee was that basically saying that, well, the other towns aren't Wakefield, and we may have other needs than what these other towns have. So I think it requires a little bit of research to
Well, it'll
sort
be
that out.
right, listing what the actual tasks are now and maybe rolling in some of what's in the open space plan to say if we want to get these initiatives going, then that's going to create time as well, the grants, things like that.
All right, so is that
The
something?
stormwater regulations, things like that.
So that's something that,
That's something Elaine might be able to, would be good at tackling, though, don't you think?
who would?
Elaine,
So that's something that Rebecca put together and a member of the
Well,
finance.
yeah, I know, what she put together isn't completely correct, is the way I'm looking at it.
Okay,
I think and that wasn't, it wasn't what Elaine put together, it was what Eleanor put together, wasn't it? That
it was not what Eleanor put together. It's what Rebecca put together in September.
All right,
Yeah.
if you get a copy of that, send it to me. All right,
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's the thing I sent to the finance committee. I sent that to the finance committee. I'll
yeah,
send
what
it.
you sent to the finance committee was what Ken had put together with showing all the towns, and then there was the other two, you know which one I'm talking about?
No,
Um,
we had given them some information on the other towns.
Right, and they
And-
didn't all get it or see it before that FinCon meeting.
yeah, right, right.
Right, but the thing is, it's gearing in on specifically Wakefield is what I think they want. And that's why the list that Rebecca put together, Teresa, did you send that before the last FinCom meeting or after?
I sent it. I'm forwarding it to. I sent it on February 6th.
So that was after, okay, so they have it now.
Yeah, again, I'll send that to you now. I thought I sent it to everyone.
Yeah, I think you did. So,
On February 6th, I sent the DEP staff survey from November of 22 and Rebecca's request
Yes,
from September, yeah,
from September. So
Yeah,
so
okay.
the finance committee has that now.
okay. So
Mhm.
I mean, I would think that's all they need to make their review. Because that was pretty comprehensive.
Okay, well, if
So-
someone can put that together, we can take a look at it.
So I forwarded to you on February 6th, and I'm forwarding it to you again, so you can see
All
it.
right,
Yeah,
well,
I've got it done.
you think it's fine the way it is then, is that what you're saying?
Well, I guess, you know what, if you let me share it, if you let me share the screen, I can show you what it looks like.
Okay, well,
yeah, you can share.
All right, can I?
I'm looking at what you
Oh
said.
my gosh, you're being put to the test now.
I know, can I? That's the
Yes.
question.
Or I can share it. I've got it
Hold on.
open right now.
Well, let me just see, share
So-
screen. How many things do I have open? Can you see that?
The excitement is really.
I know, it's building.
There it is. That's a letter from Rebecca to Steve.
oh, yeah, that's
And-
what,
And then
right,
Ken's attachment was also
right,
included.
right.
It wasn't Ken's attachment, it was Rebecca's attachment.
No, this one, that's Rebecca's, but then the other file that was included was the census. That Ken,
Right, that came from Rebecca that DEP had put together,
oh,
not what Ken had sent.
So there is another document you might want to include, Teresa, which is the job description for the new agent. And which is what they are looking to put out in an ad when they go to hire the new agent. So I can send that over.
No, you sent it already, we have it already.
You have it. Okay. All right.
But let me show you the other document that was sent with this to the finance committee, hold on. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second, so I open up the right thing.
I got it. This one. Right?
Are you sharing your screen? I'm sorry,
Yeah, Teresa, I'm showing the other file.
yes, I'm sorry, that's it, yes, that's it, yeah. And that was put together by DEP.
What?
And this is all your stats that they were looking for.
I don't think I don't think I know what you're showing, but I don't think it's in the form that they understand. Because we did it-
Why not?
I
Well,
just
time
don't think
question.
they look at it that way. I think
Oh,
they,
I think that's a great chart.
It is a great chart.
What won't they understand about it, Jimmy?
well, I mean, there's no time limits assigned to any of these things. Like if you're,
It says full-time, part-time agent. It lists whether or
Oh,
not
yeah.
they're
Are you talking about the list from Rebecca's letter, Jim?
I don't,
Yeah, I think that's what
don't
he's
have his-
talking about.
I don't have hers in
You're
front
talking
of me.
about
That's
the
what this,
password.
but Judy, that's what this is.
But this is
No,
the hours for different towns. I think
It
Jim
is,
was
that's
talking-
what, that's what Rebecca included.
Right, but I
that's-
think what he's talking about is the list that Rebecca sent in her September letter. And he's
That's
saying,
this list, oh my
Oh,
God,
I know, but
I'm gonna
no,
have
I'm
to kill
talking about
myself
her
now.
duties list, not this, not the list that shows what every other town has for an agent.
That's what I just opened up a second ago.
Right, and that's what Jim is talking about, that they should be assigned times, how much time everything takes.
Is that, I'm sorry, is that what
It's
you're
almost-
saying?
What is column E? I'm sorry to be,
How many
Average
filings they take.
RDAs per year.
That's what got the response,
average, I'm sorry, how many filings is that?
Yes, request
Request
for
for
determination.
determinations of applicability.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. So would you go down to Wake, I just want to see what Wakefield has. This is a great chart. I don't see how, what more objective, comprehensive,
it's not, it's.
Wakefield is not included.
Yes, it
What are
is.
you
It's
looking
right
for?
Yeah,
there.
it's right
Where
here,
is it?
10,
I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Thank you, Paul.
What do you think we
10,
need, Jimmy?
And
So the finance committee has this, Jim.
I understand that, but I don't think this is the type of information that they're looking for.
I thought
This-
we
this is-
said
What are they
adjacent
looking
towns
for?
and they said, what about the rest of the world, I thought. So I think this is highly relevant.
I'm not saying it's not relevant. I'm just saying that it's not the total picture that they're looking for. From what the person I spoke to said, they're interested in seeing
What the workload is, or?
well, I mean, if if you took 2 hours to do a site walk or to do your delineation, they want to know it's 2 hours out of that day. They want
times
to
associated
know
with
how
that.
we went from, for instance, just the applications. When you filled out the original applications, they were like a page. Now you look at it, it's like a 10-page document. That takes more time. All these things that you add in come out to be a number that should be greater than the
So
30 hours.
can you amend the lists that Rebecca had and specifically mention this is more than usual, this is taking more time, this is this?
Right.
So they're
And
looking for times associated with all these tasks.
well, I don't think.
We're not making widgets. We can't assign
No,
exact
no,
times.
but there's major items in there that you can put the times down to. You can group stuff together and say, oh, it usually takes about X amount. I mean, they're not looking, I don't believe, this is my opinion. I don't believe they're looking for every minute that was put down there, but generally, how much time do you have to allow? And it's good just to do it as an exercise because it's going to confirm what we're saying.
But it depends on the project and the project size.
That's right.
I mean, you could talk about months to review something.
That's something you have to, you can give an example of the school or something like that, a big project that took all this kind of time, use it as an example. How it's out of the normal, and like if it was a residential lot, we know it would take X amount, 2 hearings. Probably there's not a project that we've done that's not less than 2 hearings, so that's 6 hours right there at least, right? And there's a lot of ways you can get the numbers in there without being so anal about it that you have to put down every minute. But I
And
think I know that's what they're looking for.
And larger projects, Rebecca was meeting with the applicants, or I know on a few projects she met with the ZBA. So that adds to it. I mean, that was at the 40B on North Ave. She had, I think, 3 meetings with the ZBA about that. So that, I mean, that adds up right there.
Yeah, and she was called by all these departments to give responses and stuff like that. That took time.
Right. No, I think that's a good point, that one filing alone can, generate a ton of time on its own. And then in addition to everything else.
So, Jim, I'm going to share this again with you. Hold on for 1 second.
Okay.
If I can, if I can.
I
Again,
just stopped sharing.
it's a big if I
Now,
can.
there's no yelling at me, Teresa.
No yelling, I'm sorry.
Just nice and
So I guess I'm just trying to understand. So here is what. No yelling, sorry, Jim. So here is what Rebecca listed. Everyone
That's what I
can
was
see
just
that?
sharing.
Can you see that?
Yes,
I'm
what I
looking
was
at it,
just
yeah.
sharing. Same thing.
Right. So are you saying,
it's
Jim? So this is all the things that she does.
right. So on the average, if you added those up together, does it turn out to be more than
Do-
more
Well,
than
Do we have a sense of time for each of these tasks?
we can put together something for that. I
Well,
think.
we can't because we don't do this,
Right.
What are
fortunately.
you talking about?
We don't
Well, yeah.
draft the
The only-
orders of conditions.
The
We
only
don't
thing we
review.
know is how long attendance. We know we meet twice a month, and we know how long those meetings last. That's all we can ascribe a time.
We can put together what we think the time is ourselves. Why do we have to?
I think that'd be very,
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
yeah. that'd be-
Elaine,
I think Elaine might be able to help us with that, but I don't think any of us have enough depth to be able to answer with certainty or comfort.
What we can do is explain the size and magnitude or scale or of projects or number of project or increase industrial project versus single family houses. That we can apply metrics to, but I think Elaine, unfortunately, would have to tell us how long it takes to review building permits for WPA requirements.
So my thought is
Okay.
that rather than go through each one of these items, is to contact Rebecca and ask her how much time she was donating to the town for free. And say, you're not going to get anybody else who's going to do that for you. Rebecca says I was donating 10 hours a week of my own time in order to get this accomplished. You can say that
19 plus 10.
That could be one line of evidence. I agree. That could be one of the ways to do it, in addition to other ways.
And you can't expect that from the next applicant. I think to go through each one of these items,
Silly.
I don't think anyone's saying go through each item. I'm saying you can a lot of the stuff you can group together.
You'd just be throwing arbitrary numbers against it.
Well, they're not like Ken says, Elaine does have enough experience to know how long it takes to
Well,
check a
maybe-
delineation or.
Maybe if you group them together, like this type
Yeah.
of project, this type of project that we see often takes 10 hours of Elaine's time. This type of project, which went on for 9 months, took 300 hours of
Yeah.
Elaine's time. This type of project, and now we have times 12 projects last year. And now we have 15 tree requests. Those were phone calls. 2 hours a tree request. Multiply it up. I'm just
You
throwing out
wanna-
ideas here. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Do you want to look at the new job description too, to see if there's anything you want to throw in?
Yeah.
oh, one more thing. Yeah, I have thought of one. Education, it's not in here. I'm teaching like 4 or 5 classes this spring and would like to continue doing that. And Jim wants to do it too. So we should add education into this teaching.
where are you teaching, Elaine?
Teaching in the elementary schools, I've got like 4 classes lined up.
In Wakefield?
We're not telling you because you're gonna have to go to the class and get a certificate.
Is the school underwriting that or is conservation? I
We-
would think the school would if they're asking for it.
When you mean underwriting, you mean paying for it?
Yes.
I
They
think
didn't
we would
pay
just,
for it, Elaine?
No, but they're not paying the extra in addition to what I'm making through the Conservation Commission.
If you're
No,
out
but
with
it should come out of the school budget, really, if the school's benefiting from it.
if I had to get it through the school budget, I don't think we have a lot of,
I'm gonna ask about it tomorrow. I'm gonna ask
you-
my boss.
you
I'm gonna ask
ask-
my boss.
Well, that
you
could
ask the
be
boss and you ask the boss.
extra
and find out what it was. That would be
non-file
good.
related tasks. Extra.
What?
That could be filed as non-NOI, non-file related items that
Mhm.
you work on.
Well, we can't talk about the things that we haven't done that we did a little bit of that. What could we have done? But we didn't do because we didn't have time.
Well, there's a lot of things that we can do. We should be looking backwards.
We
at-
don't do any monitoring, which is something we should, which I think is a terrible thing. We should
Right.
always, that's just something that we just don't have the bandwidth to do any of, and we should be doing some.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think we have to go back 20 years. I think that if we went back three years, and I mean, you're not gonna send someone back for the rest of their life.
Is it fair to say are we getting more enforcement orders? Cause I would think that, I'm curious whether we're getting more of those or maybe we're not. Maybe those are not
No,
as,
I mean, you're only talking maybe 1 a year, 2 a year max.
Yeah.
probably.
all right.
Right, but that's because they're not, if you monitored sites, would probably be a lot more issues.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
And
if
And
we
people-
did
people
monitor
aren't-
sites, that's
people
right.
aren't
If we
asking-
did monitor sites, we might have more.
Yeah,
we
and
could
we'd
have-
also have more certificates of compliance closed out.
Right, and people are not filing for certificates of compliance, so that's an issue that could be
Yeah.
followed up on as well.
Yeah,
Mhm. And that's an interesting thing that we're getting more and more over the years. People didn't bother to get certificates of compliance because they were able to title insurers were willing to insure over no certificate, and now they're not. And so we're getting a lot of these now where more stringent title insurance is they're picking up old, certificates of compliance that were never issued that have to come back to us for review and for issuance.
By the way, this is totally an aside. Peter, title insurance has never covered orders of conditions because they don't cover compliance with law. So it's never covered by a title insurance policy.
Not entitled, but when you do, okay, so certifying title, so it's lawyers certifying title, is that a fair
Yeah.
thing?
It just comes up the title, but
Yes, that's right, but before, people would take title without checking for.
without clearing it. Yep.
So I don't know how to describe it. Your point is it's not about insurable title, but it's about lawyers being unwilling to certify title
Right.
without. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and that is something in your experience that has absolutely, they're more vigilant on than they were, for example, 10 years ago.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, that's fair enough, because we get a lot of those. That's something I see all the time. People come and of course, it's an emergency. Because, you don't figure this all out until like 48 hours before the closing.
So let's go back to Jim's request. So Jim,
yes,
if you lived in the best of all possible worlds,
yeah.
which we don't, what would you like to see?
As far as what?
As
What would
far
like
as
to
you,
see?
your
I mean,
request,
yeah, are we still on conservation or are we?
yes, for
talking about-
hours, yes.
I will tell you what I would think. I think they should be advertising for a full-time, for a full-time person. And then in addition, keep Elaine for 5 hours. That is what I think that's what I think the right staffing is.
That's what we want.
Elaine, did you talk to Steve about posting, he was gonna post to fill a position?
They're waiting
No.
for your comments.
Oh, I was waiting to see what what you were gonna do tonight, whether you were gonna go to.
Yeah.
not-
I think the practical thing is that they've got to, this 4-3 vote, if it had gone the other way, they could have gambled and looked for a full time. I think we're gonna have a very difficult time, I predict, getting someone who will work 19 hours, and even then, we're missing out on the volunteer. Elaine, your point is so well taken that even if it's 5 hours a week, that we're never gonna get, we need more. And we're starting out with less now that Rebecca has left. That is the hole that we are in right now.
Has that
That's a
been,
fair statement to say. Is
that clear to people that we don't have an agent because of this? And that we're probably not gonna get an agent
Well,
because
a
of
couple of
this?
things, we haven't advertised,
They haven't advertised
Wait,
yet, but
wait a minute.
they're a fork in the road. It's whether you advertise to replace, in which case we're gonna actually have less bandwidth. We're coming to them because their point is, well, do you really need another 10 hours versus another 5 hours or versus some other thing? And my point is only that we were not getting things done that we needed to get done. We're gonna lose the time, the volunteer time that's been put in. And, you know, so we're already, you know, even if we just replace, even if we get a 19-hour, we're gonna be worse off rather than, and when we're at a time when we're asking for more, we're effectively getting less. The response is no, you're not gonna even have what you had before, you're gonna have less. And that's kind of what's
Well,
disappointing here.
Peter, a couple of things. One is, this is for the current position now, not for a position that begins on July 1. So
I understand that, but
We're
by
on
the
the
same
old
token,
budget, so we
they're
can
not
only,
paying for,
we
they're
can-
not gonna be paying, it's gonna take a while to fill a position, so.
Right,
if
all I'm
we
saying
Get
is
to
we
July 1, we could actually hire someone and have enough money in the budget to pay them for the time from the time they start until July 1, I think, by the time, by the time you realize we stopped paying Rebecca.
But that's not gonna change today because the current budget is already
Right.
set from last year.
exactly,
Right.
that will not change. So the advertisement has to be for
It has to
19.
go out. So if you have comments on it and issue them tonight, then they'll post it tomorrow.
So what did you think of the description? Elaine, did you look at it?
I did, and that's just the point I'd like to make. As I look at this description, you can just cross off half a dozen of these requirements because you're never going to get you're never going to have time to get to half a dozen of these on 19 hours a week. It just won't happen. And they're all under open space, general resource protection, because that's what Rebecca never had time to do. There's time to process the filings and do sort of the Wetlands Protection Act obligations, which are the ones that are always in your face every week because there's always a filing coming in.
Yeah,
But your long-term goals, you might as well take open space, general resource protection, and cross them off. As for the open space plan, you had to hire somebody. Now, if you want to do that, not discounting all the work that Judy has done, but you had to hire an outside consultant. If you wanted,
We would have done that anyway. We wouldn't have, we
Right.
never would have had.
That wouldn't, yeah,
That would never have happened.
no.
No conservation agent would ever have been able to do that, Elaine.
I do it. I've already done
The
3.
entire one?
Yep, the whole thing. I've done 3 since I've been in Winchester, written the whole thing. So, so there you go. So, the problem is you're not getting your long-term goals and your
Right.
open space projects done.
You're doing what's urgent, but not necessarily what's really important, right?
Right, but if you have a comprehensive job description for the 19 hours and then it gets voted for July 1st for full-time hours,
Right.
then you have it covered.
That's a good point.
Judy, where did we
Yeah, I
get,
wouldn't cross stuff out of the job description. at
No.
this point,
Judy,
so-
who sent us the job
No, I
description?
wouldn't cross it out. I'm just saying on 19 hours, you don't get this.
HR looked at different area, job
Well,
description.
who sent the job description to the commission, Judy? Did you?
I may have. Yeah, I
I'm
think,
Steve-
I think I probably did.
Steve
I did
prepared
it.
this. Steve prepared this.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to
Amy
find
did, yeah.
Judy's original email. Because I want to pull it up.
Yeah, because Amy, the HR director, asked for the commission to weigh in and see what they thought about it. And if they're fine with it, then it'll get posted tomorrow.
Mr. Chairman, is it appropriate for me to just mention a couple of things? This is Bronwyn Delavolpe.
yeah, Bob, that's the Bob. Would
Bob, I can't hear you.
Yes, Bronwyn, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. I just had a couple of notes. You know, Ipswich has a full-time conservation agent, and I don't know if it makes a difference, but Ipswich has half the population that Wakefield does. So I think it's examples like that in your communications with Mr. Mayo and anyone else who may be looking at this budget. Those things count and are important. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I hope that you find a way to make this happen, is please, I'm begging you, do not wait until town meeting to make your case. Minds are made up by most voters before they get to town meeting. It is very difficult for most people to sit there and absorb everything that they're hearing from all different directions. Your case has to be made before town meeting. I know letter in the paper, several letters in the paper. There are a lot of people that would support this that could help in that regard. Along the lines of what Elaine says, I think it's very important, and I had urged this committee to do this before, was to try to focus on what hasn't been done, what has not been possible to do under part-time hours. I think that's almost more important than showing what is being done, because there was some talk during some of the meetings that Rebecca was able to get the bare minimum done. Well, what you want to communicate is all the things that cannot be done, have not been able to get done, and that should be being done. And also just, again, that it's not legal for a town employee, an hourly town employee, to be working off the clock like that. Whether or not Rebecca put in her hours, that's not my point. I'm just saying that I'm agreeing that you're not going to get a conservation agent with this job description. So town meeting, please don't wait for town meeting to make your case. There are several towns that are smaller than Wakefield that have full-time, something like that in your communications to Mr. Mayo, et cetera, is important. Please focus on what has not been able to get done. Because I think that's more important when you're asking for this kind of increase. And are you sure the finance committee made a decision on this? Because I thought they tabled it because they wanted more
They have
discussion.
not made a decision yet.
Yeah, they have not voted.
Good. Okay. Yeah, because it was their discussion was quite interesting, and I think they're taking a deeper look at it. That's all I've got. Thank you very much for letting me add that in.
All right, thank you very much for your input.
Okay.
So, Bob, you had pulled up the job description.
Yeah. Let's see, hang on.
And this had input from Elaine. Did you have input in this?
No,
And
So
Judy,
Lane, I think it's pretty interesting that you would just take a highlighter and just highlight, half the things in the job description and say, these are things that are unlikely to be done. These are things where we've had trouble devoting, that inadequate attention has been devoted to as a result of the not enough time.
So Elaine, if you looked at these items, Bob, you're not sharing your screen.
I am now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Gotta find the email.
You have to be a better sharer, Bob.
I'm sorry.
I had other emails open.
Who sent this email, Bob? I couldn't find it.
I sent that to everyone.
You sent it?
Yeah, but it was sent prior to that too.
I sent, isn't that the one I sent? I think
Yes, but that was the second
one that
time I
Steve
got it.
mailed. That's one's, or
That's-
Elaine sent it. One of us sent it.
Yeah. This is the one that Elaine did, right?
No, Elaine did not do this.
Oh,
That's what she just said.
sorry.
no, that was put out by Steve Mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
don't
by
know where he
HR.
got the description from.
HR looked at postings that were on the MACC website.
Okay, good. So
And
Elaine,
so
you think you can take a highlighter and highlight any number of these things that are unlikely to be, that we are not able to devote adequate time to currently as a result of our hours, right? That's what,
Well, I'm
Okay.
asking Elaine to tell us what she can just tell us right now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you said that was your point, Elaine, and I thought that actually moved my needle when you said that.
But how does that,
I'm looking at, go ahead, Judy, while I look at this. I'm
Okay.
looking at the one that Rebecca put together. And
So let's look at this one. Let's just
Yeah,
see
look
if
at this
this
one.
one.
No,
if it
actually, I
didn't
think
go-
we should compare the one Rebecca put together to this one and add in what they dropped out frankly.
They dropped out. and
Okay,
said,
wait a sec, but let's just look at Steve's, because the point is, if the very thing that he says is essential, we can say that we can't get done. That's important. Like, for example, monitors. Maybe that's not maybe that's different. The word monitoring is different there. It's used
Yeah,
different.
no, I thought, yeah, that is different.
Organize and publish, okay, acts on behalf of the commission as assigned, works cooperatively, serves information resource, researches, provides data,
I
attends
think,
meetings.
I tell you, if you look at Rebecca's open space / general resource protection, and then you look at the town of Wakefield posting, the town of Wakefield says executes short and long range plans and objectives associated with the Conservation Commission and its responsibilities. If you look at Rebecca's open space, it says specifically identify unique local resources, prepare an open space plan, research and conduct on-site evaluations, research management approaches and plans that provide for a diversity of habitats and other conservation values, oversee management tasks, assure compliance with regulations for conservation lands, foster good relations with abutters, coordinate with friends group, and all that shows up on the one for the town is execute long-range plans associated with the Conservation Commission and its responsibilities.
Okay, so that executes, but going back to monitors and follows up on filings approved by the commission. That is post-approval monitoring. Is that not?
Yeah, but it's not, that has to do with the permits, not with the long-range open space preservation.
No, but my point is that one of the things we say we haven't done is monitoring.
That's true.
And I think that's one of that's the second bullet point. It's monitors filings approved. That is non-existent right now. Am I correct? I mean, is that not what we are? You know, we are, or it's inadequate the monitoring we have now.
That was one of Rebecca's complaints, yes.
Okay.
There's enough time to review the incoming filings, but not enough time to monitor
approved filings.
Implementation after you've issued the orders.
Well, I would say filings approved by the commission is the orders of conditions that's been issued. That's what I meant by that. We approve it and issue the order of conditions. So I guess I would highlight that one and say that is a and then of course the execute short and long term.
But it's meant to be more general, so it can be an all-inclusive, so they're not pigeonholed into certain tasks. I think that's why it's more general.
I know, but I'm just saying, if we use this alone, I think we would say that the one that's already in blue is not happening.
But what do you hope to gain by that, by sending it back? If they're doing a posting, what do you want the outcome to be if you tell them that?
We're saying that if those duties, these are the duties that we think are not going to be able to be adequately addressed. That are identified that won't be adequately addressed in 19 hours a week.
Peter, we're not going to want to tell the town that in putting out a job posting.
Right. We lost that fight with the town council. Not in general, we haven't lost it.
Well, but isn't what we're trying to do is saying that we're just trying to match the, your point is.
We want to put out the job description that we need.
Right.
Exactly.
And then you got to push the town meeting to get us there.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, if you go the other way, then what do we have to point to at town meeting?
Right. They'll say 19 hours is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So I actually thought this description was pretty comprehensive. My only comment was that the payroll and benefits manager doesn't know how to spell her title.
That's a problem.
Yeah, look on top of the page. Manager is spelled incorrectly. Go to the top, all the way to the top. See manager? Nope, on top. Next line,
Manger, the payroll and benefits manger,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the letterhead.
right.
Well,
So wait a minute, I guess I see what you're saying, but there's just something that's to me that says that there's a disconnect between the essential functions and the expectation that 19 hours is sufficient to.
Right, but you're talking about.
It's internally, the job posting itself is in, and we're just trying to reconcile the.
But that's not gonna help us now. All they're asking for is our
Right.
input.
you
You're
don't want
talking
to
about present, this is
reconcile.
for future. This is what
Right.
you strive towards.
Well.
And by the way-
I thought we were saying that please give us data that explain to us what, we're saying that.
That's two different things.
Yeah, two different
Alright,
things.
all right,
Peter.
maybe I'm mixing two things, but it just
Yeah.
seems to me that this is some, what Elaine said is that. That on 19 hours, all of these things, there's whole portions of the job description, forget about which one. That are not gonna get done, and that to me was a compelling statement that Elaine made, and I'm just trying to follow up on that, nothing. And whether I'm responding to the request for additional information by the finance committee. Because that was one of the things we were talking about a few minutes ago. What more can we show the finance committee? And I don't think it's unreasonable to tell them that we just don't see, that. To point out the disconnect. And that is why we're asking for more hours, and they should approve, and they should recommend them.
I think that's a good argument. So what do you think about the job description as is?
can you put that up on the screen?
This is the
Well,
job
it
description.
It is.
It is on the
It
screen.
is.
But I think we should use the one that the town itself created, not
That's
that
what
we
this is.
created one.
That's what this is.
That's what this is, Peter.
I understand that. That's what I'm saying. We said we were talking about comparing two different job descriptions. Start with the one
Why is this
that's,
thing,
what? What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to scroll, but this,
Oh,
I'm scrolling.
there we
This is
go.
Bob's
I'm sharing.
screen.
Okay.
Oh,
Chip
yeah,
sharing.
Sharon, is that what it is? Okay.
Do you
So
want
the,
to share and scroll?
Yeah, so my point was only that, I thought that the immediate thing was to provide some additional information to influence the, and I thought that here is the job posting that Steve Mayo, that he circulated. And that the essential functions, are just things that we are not able to do on the status of on 19 hours. And it's unrealistic to think that those essential functions are gonna be done. And candidly, we can say that these are essential functions that right now are not being adequately, that are not being adequately handled. And anything that involves long-range planning has been given short shrift. And monitoring has been given short shrift, and I just want to point to those.
So that's your argument for finance committee, but
Right, not right.
what do you think of the job description?
I don't think.
Want to make any additions, any changes, any deletions?
No,
Well,
I think that we're not gonna win the battle by fritzing over the job description.
No, but is there anything else you want added, or you think wording should be changed, anything like that? That's why they
Should
were
we
asking
be
for the comment.
expanding on any of these scope items? I mean, if you look at monitors and follows up on all filings approved by the commission and keeps a detailed record, revising forms as necessary, that just ignores the fact that the agent is supposed to be doing field inspections on projects after they're authorized.
But what about that? Isn't that monitoring? That is what
Yeah,
monitoring.
That
is
is
monitoring.
monitoring.
Yeah, but I think, is it enough to say monitors?
It's very streamlined description.
It's
Right.
streamlined, but I think
Streamlined. It's so
quibbling about the
streamlined
job,
that you
I'd rather
can
not quibble
gloss
on the
right
job
by.
description than to say that the job description, that there's so much more to it than it's described in the job description. I just think that the job description you're saying is that we can point to things that are in this job description that we wish we could be doing a better job on, but we can't.
No. So this conversation is about what we need to get a new agent
Mhm.
in the current state. So I think what Judy's asking is, do we do anything to this description that we think we need to get a new agent in the current state? Is that right, Judy?
I have a hard time
Thank
saying
you.
that if we added 1,000 other things like that, it's gonna move the, it's a conservation agent. People know what it, these are just the general jobs of the conservation agent in every town.
Judy, did Amy do this? Or who, Steve didn't put this together, did he?
No, Amy did. I gave her some links to reference different postings. And she pulled it out and put
Do we
this
really need to
together.
quibble? I mean, do we really think that making edits to this is gonna make a difference in any?
No,
Right, but they asked for your input, so. if
Right,
you-
I think
Yeah.
it's
I
fine the
think
way it
it's
is.
courtesy. I think.
And
it's-
that's what I was gonna say, then it's fine the way it is. That's my point is, why quibble with it? It's fine.
Yeah.
How do you know that unless you read through it?
I did, I just read it.
We just read it.
Yeah, he didn't even scroll it up. How'd you read it?
Because we got it a few,
Right
we
here.
got it at least a week ago, Jim.
I know that, but
you-
he's saying he
it's
read
one
it.
Page,
huh?
it's one page.
No, it's more than one.
Judgment, complexity, nature and purpose of, those are all.
I understand that, but if Bob is scrolling and
We read it prior, we read it.
We read it last week.
Yeah, I guess my
over the
point was,
weekend.
okay, I'm not sure.
the very first page is talking about putting aside all of that complexity, blah, blah, blah. Is talking about the essential functions of of the job, and that seems pretty good.
Can we start at the top and just go through each category, just read each category, just and
It's those, I
and we-
was commenting on the essential functions, those bullet points.
okay, but I'm just gonna comment on, I'm just gonna read what she's wrote here to see if there is any correction that I'd like to make.
Is this Amy Cordiati that wrote this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear the talk in the background here? I guess not.
No, just.
No,
Okay, good. Now I got people in the other room. Sorry.
All right, this first page looks all right to me.
And that is what I was commenting on, the essential functions, the duties. That's really what I was focusing on.
Well, wait a minute, it's reports and works under the general direction of the town administrator
Yes, and the Conservation Commission.
and the Conservation Commission. Okay, I don't like that. There's something I don't like about that.
Doesn't everyone report to the, doesn't every employee report to the town administrator? Isn't that the deal?
Well, it sounds
The
like,
town administrator appoints the conservation agent. So
right.
that's-
I know that. Well, I guess that's okay, yeah, works under. It works under the Director of Community and Economic Development.
On collaborative.
collaborative
and
project.
Projects, okay. Scroll up a little bit
Down.
down, well, I don't know, it's going up.
Down on the document.
Has everyone read this already?
Yes,
Jesus, I'm sorry.
Those of us at work have read it.
Okay.
So,
Some of us who are retired.
Jim, I think that's,
Well,
I think that's called a burn. I think that's called a burn, Jim.
Yeah. That really hurt.
wouldn't it be better to say works with the Director of Community and Economic Development rather than works under? Works under is a
Yeah, I
different
agree,
thing.
I
Yeah.
agree with that. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
That makes it-
You're right about that. Like,
It's not,
we're not subordinate, we're equal.
and the conservation agent is not directed by the Director of Community Development. Okay,
That's
Say that
right.
again, Paul?
Otherwise, you wouldn't have a collaboration.
so instead of saying under direction of, it's gonna be with the director.
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Teresa, are you handling the pen?
On my copy, I am. I don't,
How are we sending back comments?
Judy, what is the best way to do this? By revising it? Did you send this as a PDF or as a Word doc?
It's a
I
Word
think it's a
doc.
Word document.
Okay. If we send it as track changes,
Yeah, I don't see why not.
can we change ranger to manager?
I don't think
I'm
so.
definitely
Letterhead.
commenting on that.
What was that, Judy?
I'm definitely commenting on that.
Yep.
Yeah, do you want to cross out the 19 and put a 40 in there or 35?
No, that won't do.
Are you guys okay with 3 to 5 years experience? How about, no, what do you mean, 3 to 5 years working with, what, shouldn't it be at least 5 years or at least 3 years, but somewhere between 3 to 5 years means we're looking for someone who's junior. We don't want an experienced person. That I agree. That's wrong.
I don't think you're gonna get someone with 10 years experience.
No, I
No,
don't.
but if someone with 10 years experience would say, I guess I shouldn't apply. Because we're not.
I don't
looking
think
for-
so. I don't see many. I
Just-
don't see
isn't
many
it-
part-time positions that
Shouldn't it
require
be
10
3
years
or
experience.
more years experience working with,
We could just add at least 3 to 5 years.
Yes. Well, at least, but a range sort of implies, just like if you're looking for someone who's like a mid-level associate at a law firm, you put 3 to 5 years and that means that experienced people need not apply.
But you get all ranges of people who apply anyway. You know that already.
All right, I know, but
Yeah.
just silly that,
As a practical matter, I'm just going to say this: whether it's part-time or full-time, there are lots and lots of openings for agents in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're never going to
Full-time.
find one regardless. I shouldn't say never. I don't mean to be so pessimistic.
But
it's
finding
gonna
one
be-
for 19 hours when all the others are full-time.
Right. So
Hey, I'd like to add, I'd like to weigh in on that. You know who you get part-time is someone who doesn't want to work full-time, much as Rebecca didn't want to work full-time because she had a young family.
right.
And that's how I started out. And I wanted a part-time job for the same reason. I was starting a family. So you could get people like that who say, I don't want to put in all those hours. I want to spend more time with my young children. There you go. So that's the kind of person you might attract. And they're
Unless
out,
they're in the
they're out-
economy of this world and can't afford to have a family and work part-time, is the unfortunate reality.
maybe, it depends, but it depends on your economic circumstances. The chances of finding someone like that in these economic times become a bit more remote. But I think you might get them for just that reason. I think that's the kind of person who may want a part-time job.
Bob, I know you're busy working, but could you scroll up a little bit?
You mean down, right?
Yes, go down.
That's all of page 2, the rest of page 2.
I thought this read pretty well, I have to say.
yeah.
Federal EPA regulations, you don't really need them for this job, do you? We do state law, we don't do federal regulations.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you're right. Rebecca, I think that a knowledge of it would be helpful, but you're right. You don't need to know whether or not they're subject to MEPA review. Actually, I take it back, not even state. Yeah, I agree. Federal EPA regulations is not.
I would say leave it in as part of what you'd like in the person's knowledge and background.
I don't know if it says, if it's what about being able to apply for grants? Is that something you'd put in there as a separate item, or is that,
They talked about the second planner doing that, so I don't know that,
well, but should it be here anyways, just in case?
I don't know.
I don't know.
They're gonna object to it. Judy, you and I I asked you about whether or not the jobs that you're now currently doing will be Is
Bob,
that
you're a speed reader.
I'm
gonna
looking
go
for
over
something
to the
about
conservation
grants.
agent, Judy?
What?
I don't have an answer to that yet. Whether that stuff is gonna be temporary or not, I don't know yet.
Because all the things that you're doing now, that's not included in this job description, is it?
No.
So that's a problem. Also, Elaine, have you been approved for any additional hours besides your 5?
Yes. But when I spoke with Steve after Rebecca left, we said that until somebody new is hired, I would work and charge on a consulting basis and charge for the hours that I actually spend rather than
Okay.
hours. And that's the latest arrangement we have.
And did he give you a limit?
No, he just said be reasonable. And I said, okay.
Okay, great. Okay, that's good to know, Elaine. Then it doesn't mean you, it makes it any easier for you to do two jobs. Instead of the 1 in 5 hours, the one you had, so, it's
I'm
still a
grateful
lot on you,
I'm grateful that you're willing to do it though, Elaine, that's for sure.
to say the least.
Was there something in the description about being able to read and interpret site plans? I mentioned that to her. I don't know if it was.
You know, I didn't specifically.
Because that should be specifically called out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about. Yeah, they don't really say that.
Unless it's further up.
Ability to skip.
Not,
Okay.
Yeah, that's ability to read and interpret site plans. It's the third to the last item on page 3, on top of page 3.
oh,
Do
it's
Okay.
knowledge, it's in the knowledges.
you see it, Judy?
Yeah, ability to read and interpret site
I
plans.
think
Why is the GIS program in yellow?
In case there were any other programs that the commission thought would be helpful for the person to know.
Okay.
All right, so is everyone happy with this now?
Yeah,
So the only change we had then was to say for to work with the director of community under supervision received, revise the second sentence to say work with instead of under the direction of.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, I think
But
that,
otherwise, I thought it was a good effort, yes.
Yeah, me too. I thought it read well.
yeah,
Judy, do you want me to revise this just to make that one change, or do you want to or I could just do an email saying what the change is?
Yeah, I think just saying what the change is fine.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'll
I think
send
that's
you
good.
an email with that one change. How's that?
Okay, thank you.
And again, Bob, who sent the original email?
Let me see. So Jimmy sent this originally?
Jimmy sent. Okay, okay,
Yeah, here's a draft of the job posting for the Concom position.
okay. Thank you. I'll find-
And Steve sent it to Jim.
Yep.
So I have a question. How are you going to post this and hire an applicant until you know that whether the applicant is working full-time or part-time?
well,
We
that,
can only post it for 19 hours, Elaine. That's all we can
yeah,
do.
it's posted for
Now.
19 hours. It's a 19-hour job.
That's
But
all,
suppose-
that's all that's funded until July 1st. There's no way around that.
Then we can change it if we get funding for it.
So wait a minute. So suppose you hire someone
Yep.
who
Yeah.
comes in and says, I want to work for 19 hours a week. So this description does not say that this is a part-time job until July 1st.
Well,
So this person comes in
No,
and
it
says,
doesn't. It doesn't.
We don't
It sa-
know if
and
it's
it
gonna be
says,
full-time.
my understanding was I want to work part-time. That's what I want. And now all of a sudden you're
Right.
loading all these extra hours on me. I never agreed to a full-time job. So how is it fair to whoever you hire to load these extra hours on when that was never part of the understanding when that person was hired? So
Yeah.
would you be better off to say, look, we're only however many days we are away from town meeting,
Right, you're right.
and then say, once you have if you decide to go for full-time at town meeting, just keep the arrangement you have now and treat your applicant fairly. It just
Right.
doesn't seem fair to do that.
Yeah, I don't see them holding off that long to fill the position. And they could say, if the person doesn't want full-time, they could hire another part-time person.
Yeah, that's true.
So you'd have two part-time people plus me at 5 hours. You'd have 3 people doing that job. That doesn't make a lot of sense either.
We don't
I
know
don't
if
know
we'll
what they
get the
do.
full-time, right? We won't know if that we're gonna get that or not.
When is town meeting?
April 29th.
Okay, that's not just right around the corner either.
Well, it's not that far away. So you hire somebody part-time
Mm.
and then you make the job full-time and then you hire a second person plus me. That's not a good way to run an office.
I don't know what they'll do, but for right now, this is what they said they're posting is 19 hours.
I get that, but why do you have to agree to that? Why can you not say, look,
Because they'll post it regardless of what we say. Either
well,
way.
but at least you'll have said it. So why not say, Conservation Commission wants to go to town meeting to make this a full-time job. In all fairness to the new employee, hold off on this, keep with the arrangement you have now until that decision is made, and then advertise for full-time or part-time. And treat your employees decently.
I agree. I would support that.
100%.
I don't know that it's realistic.
Well, we can try, Judy.
Well,
You'd have to get plenty of people to go to town meeting, that's.
If you're going to go to town meeting, I mean, you might win, you might lose,
well,
but
you know, I don't know if we even know that we're gonna need an agent soon. I don't think we can wait till, you know, April to decide to.
Because
get
if you
an
wait
agent.
until
I mean,
town
someone's-
meeting, it probably takes 2 months before you get someone hired.
I mean, I think you could probably attack it on the next year's budget. Just, we can get all our information together and and then
Well, but
present it.
Elaine's point is if we hire someone who can only work part-time, then what do? Fire them? You know, that's
Well,
not,
we're stuck with whatever Steve wants right now anyways, because that's what they have in the budget. They're not gonna prove you.
even in all fairness to Steve, you ought to tell him you're going to town meeting. It just seems to me you ought to be transparent about what's going on here. So whatever decision is made, nobody's going to look back and say, if I had known this, I would have done differently.
Yeah.
I mean, you pay a price for everything. No matter which decision you make, you pay a price for it. The question is, what price do you want to pay?
Well, I honestly think for us that we're gonna need an agent before town meeting. So I think you should just,
well, we have Elaine.
but Elaine, you're gonna have her putting in 19 plus 5, 24 hours.
I can't do that.
Yeah, she's already full-time in Winchester.
She's in full-time and I mean,
All right. Well, but
Double, 2 jobs.
and then what happens if we need her and she can't leave because she's got something going on in Winchester? What do we do?
Well, Winchester always closes at noon on Fridays. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been doing Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings.
Mm.
So see how that comes. It's been a little slow. We'll see how
Yeah.
that goes. But anyway, I still think going to send this back to Steve, you ought to tell him before he posts it that we're going to town meeting to request that this is
Right,
the
agree, I
job
agree.
full time. So, and then when you interview applicants, you have to tell the applicant the same thing.
Right. No, I agree with you on that. I think that we should just, they asked for comments on this. They're gonna put something out no matter what, I would think. So this is our opportunity to make comments, which we did. And I think they should post it with the understanding that's a part-time job. And when it comes time for town meeting, we get our big ducks in a row and we get all our information to back up what we're gonna say, because we can still present it at town meeting to get a full-time person.
When will we know whether the finance committee is gonna
They,
endorse it?
no, they didn't say anything about it. They're waiting for, I believe they're waiting for us to give them some information.
I don't
Right?
think so.
You don't think so?
No.
They vote on everything all at once, they said.
Well, okay, that's not what
Can I raise one more thing on the job scope here on essential functions?
Yeah.
Something that just came to mind as I went back through it. It does not mention any work in the field. I mean, the conservation agent normally has to go on field visits to sites, but there's nothing really in this description that I see that mentions that at all.
Under the physical,
Are you
motor, and
sure?
visual skills, there is,
Yeah, I thought there
you
was
know,
something.
digging, reaching, bending, stooping, lifting.
Yeah, but there's
Ability
nothing
needed.
in the essential functions.
It said something
That is-
about delineations.
Sorry?
It said something about delineations.
Well, in knowledge, skills, and ability, it says knowledge of wetland boundary identification and verification, yes.
Right, so that's field work. You have to verify that in the field.
Well, we don't say that there's any field work at all in the essential functions component of the description, though, from what I can see.
Actually, you know,
Yeah, some work is performed in the field in thick woods and wet areas. There's exposure to various weather conditions,
Right.
including heat, wind, rain, and snow.
Where's that, Bob?
The last paragraph before physical, motor, and visual skills. I got it highlighted. I'm sharing
Oh,
now.
the work environment, yeah. Okay, got that.
and also the fourth bullet is acts on behalf of a conservation commission as assigned. So, I mean, that going on site visits is something that we assign the agents.
I agree, Teresa. I'm just suggesting we may want to be somewhat more transparent there, but if you don't want to add it, I'm not gonna fight about it.
Well, there is plenty of times where they're gonna be doing more than just a delineation. They're gonna be out there confirming that these recharge chambers are properly installed, and
Mhm.
so there's gonna be plenty of occasions where, so you might want to add something in there that gives you a little bit more.
I think it's covered.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's gonna say, I can't believe that, I mean, I think that anyone with any experience knows what a conservation agent does.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's obvious that to anyone who would apply exactly what is required. So in some ways, that's,
All right.
I don't think anyone's gonna be surprised that they have to go on a site visit. It's just, no.
All right.
So I like the thing. I have no issue with that. I think that you're right, that what Elaine identified is that. And Elaine, you identified something that you wanna tell Steve that it's gonna be, that you're right, that it creates this weird thing. And although, Elaine, I gotta tell you, something you said is that maybe our only hope is to get 2 part-time people, because no one, all these towns are trying to get full-time and they can't. So you actually raise an issue that is imperfect as it is. Maybe that's our only hope.
Well,
Wait a minute.
Rebecca and I did it for years. We shared, we were 10 and 10 at one time. And we job shared, that's true.
Yeah.
So I'm not, I don't know. I just, it never occurred to me that Teresa's comment that no one can fill these positions on a full, they're all advertising for full-time positions, and no one can fill them. I mean, that really is, wow.
It's a lot of work for one person.
Well, no, I'm just saying that it's not the work, it's just that it's.
No, I'm just making a comment. It's a lot of work.
Elaine's comment is that maybe we're, we're outfoxing ourselves trying to, get in line with all these other unfilled, get in line to get these. To find someone to fill an unfillable position when we could, maybe actually the smart thing to do is to. I don't know.
Judy, how long do they post it for?
Depending on how many applicants they get, they leave it up for a few weeks and they start interviewing.
Okay, so there's no
They don't
set
get any-
frame, like,
If they don't get any applicants that have the skills, then
Mm-hmm.
they'll extend it.
well, I would say I'm okay with this the way we've now got it. Is anyone else okay with it?
Yeah.
With the changes that we've made?
Which is just one change.
What?
I said, which is just one change.
I didn't hear that.
Just one change, Jim.
Just
just
one
one change.
change, Jim, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
just
Okay.
one minor change.
It's one
Okay.
change saying that we're working with the director.
All right,
Under.
right, that's a big deal, yeah, that's good.
That's the one change.
Yeah,
And then in the email though, do we want to say that, what Elaine mentioned that?
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I think, yes.
That we plan to apply, to go before
Yeah.
town, okay.
So do you have any comments about the tax title list? The
I think
list-
it's hard for us to comment on it without having a plan, corresponding to it. It's really hard to look at it and say, yeah, I know that parcel, Judy.
But the list, in the spreadsheet, it says where it's adjacent to.
So I have a question for you, Judy. Do you want me, I do the field work. Do you want me to go out and walk all these properties or some of these properties as part of what I'm doing?
No, I don't think it's necessary, because they're mostly wooded. They're areas that we just want to protect because they're adjacent to areas we've identified as conservation areas or trails.
Mhm.
So there's no need for an assessment of the parcel.
Okay. So can I go back? Who's writing Steve Mayo
About the
about the job?
job description, I'm gonna do an email and I'll send back. I don't know, Jimmy, are you gonna forward it on to Steve Mayo?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what everyone wants, sure.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure it didn't fall through the cracks that you weren't expecting me to do it or something.
No,
Okay.
I'll do it. If I don't do it tonight, I'll do it tomorrow morning and I'll forward it to you all to look at. And then
Did you
Jimmy-
want to talk to Steve Mayo in person, Elaine, or do you want me to just send it to him?
I'm not into, I don't really see Steve. I don't see anybody. When
Okay,
I go in there, the town hall is empty
okay,
by the time I get in. So
Yeah.
probably it would be a better idea to go from Teresa to Jim and Jim to Steve.
all right, fine, let's do that.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, Judy. We're back to the parcels again.
So Jim, you wanted more time to look at the open space plan?
I do need just a little bit more
Okay.
time. Not that I'm gonna find anything, it's just
Right, no, that's fine.
I think it was, I think it was really, I think it's well done.
Yeah, I think.
I haven't read too many of them, but I thought. it
I'm
was-
still amazed that Elaine does hers. How much do we pay for this? I forget. What was it?
Elaine's a superstar, you keep.
I know,
forgetting that.
I know. How much do we pay Horsley Witten to do it? Do you remember, Judy, offhand?
30.
Oh my,
I think, or something.
I
like
thought
Poor
it was
Elaine.
25. I thought it
Oh
was
my
20.
God.
that. But they've been working on it for a year and a half.
Really? Has it been that long?
Yeah,
Wow. Huh.
these take a long time. They're like 200 pages by the time you're done.
Hmm,
Ours is only like 89.
Right.
Pretty
okay,
streamlined. So
all
what
right.
about the tax title parcels?
I'm okay with whatever you, well, one question I have is if we find other ones, we can do the same thing, request them to be, you know,
Put under the
under
care, yeah, you can.
okay. How many parcels are you presenting then?
A lot.
Yeah, there are a lot.
Well, I mean, a lot is what, I mean, 10, 20?
About 70, Jimmy.
No, you're not doing them
No, I
all.
don't think they're that many. There
You're
aren't
not
that
doing
many.
them, you're not doing them
Not
all.
all, not all of them, just the ones that are adjacent to areas that are already conservation sensitive. So they
Okay.
make sense. The town isn't losing anything by putting them under the care and custody of the commission.
Yeah, okay,
And they're adding something by having designated conservation areas
yeah,
that are protected.
okay.
So if everyone wants to look that stuff over again this week and just let me know by the end of the week, that'd be good. And then I can send that to the consultants and then they can have a final draft. I mean, it still wouldn't, it's not the complete product, but it would be more finalized with your comments.
So are you putting, I'm sorry, are you putting the open space, the tax title wish list in the open space plan?
On the map that will show the parcels, it will have, it will be denoted that they're currently under, title review for, transfer to the Conservation Commission.
So I just want to show Jimmy so he sees. Can I share my screen again?
Sure can.
Can you see that?
Not yet.
Oh,
Bob, you working right now?
So this is the list,
There it
Jim.
is.
Can you see this?
Yep.
So it shows, okay, so it starts at number 3. And we're going to,
there's 69 total, I think, Rebecca. The rest.
right, 74 under that we want on the Conservation Commission. That's a lot of parcels.
But a lot of them are smaller parcels that are all connected.
Right. No, I'm just saying, it's a lot of parcels.
Yeah.
I understand. I've not looked at this. I can't, if I didn't have a tax map in front of me, knowing what I'm looking at, I have no clue as to this list. So
Yeah.
I literally no clue, Judy. So I'm taking the work that Rebecca did and saying, you know, I
Yeah,
guess,
those are all part of that emerald necklace
Right.
from, you know, the, let's see, Holland Road and off
From
of
Maple
Holland.
Way all the way to, right, all the way out to JJ Round.
Yeah,
And then Grandview is off Spring Street.
right.
That's the trail system that goes into Stoneham and Melrose.
Melrose, yeah.
And West Hill Ave is the abutting parcels.
I mean, some of these are inside neighborhoods. There's no, you know, you'd be parking in the street.
Right,
try to
but that's
access.
what, I mean, they're really meant for neighborhood because they're not difficult hiking trails. So it's not areas that it's going to attract suddenly a ton of hikers. It's not going to be like it's Breakheart.
Yeah, and you know, the
Mm.
homeowners aren't gonna want people cutting through parcels next to their properties and all that. We know how that goes. Not my backyard type of philosophy.
Right. But that's,
so
I mean,
Jim,
if
can you
found
see that
land, then-
list?
I haven't seen this list before.
Again, Judy sent it over the weekend with the open space plan.
Okay,
Yeah, she had sent us the map at one point showing us all these parcels.
Rebecca had.
Yeah,
what are they doing?
Playing board games.
Oh,
They're playing board games. The dogs are they?
Pardon?
Are the dogs playing board games? No.
No, my
No, it's okay.
my son and his buddies.
I was only kidding. Only kidding.
Uh, Where's your cat tonight?
I know, he came in but didn't want to make an appearance on top of the desk. So there you
Hmm.
go.
All right,
So-
so where we at now? Are we done with this?
So we're done with this, yeah, so I'll stop sharing. And so
So-
I'm also gonna prepare a letter for your signature, Jim, to say that we'd like to put on the town warrant the budget for as you know, as we had presented it to the town council and to the finance committee.
Okay,
Also, I'll
But the-
prepare that to send.
Won't the budget will be on the town meeting agenda, the warrant, the budget will be
But not our version of it.
right, then wouldn't you just need to,
Make an
Make a-
amendment on the floor.
yeah. Say it again, Judy?
You don't think we say that we want to talk about it, Judy?
I think that would be fine. I don't know that process. I know what I've seen is people make an amendment on the floor. To what-
Right.
So should we ask Sherry that question? Or town council? I mean,
Yeah, I think you could ask Tom Mullen. I think he'd be the best route.
okay, I'll ask Tom Owen. Okay. And the other thing we can think about is whether or not we want to write a letter that goes into the item about this.
who are you talking to?
To the commission in general, following up on Bronwyn's suggestion.
Oh. That's great.
Because it's true that we probably would need town support
Yeah,
before the meeting.
because you know what happens at town meetings, right? Basically, you get, the interest group, special interest group shows up, votes on their thing and then takes off.
Yep. All right, so what are we doing now?
Well, you have time to think about that.
Yes, we do have some time. About doing a letter
Yeah.
yeah, and in the meantime, I'll find out, I'll contact Tom Mullen about the process.
So I'll see if I can find the map that Rebecca had with the parcels on it. Will that help, Teresa? The tax title parcels?
Sure,
Okay,
thank you, Judy.
you're welcome.
All right,
So now
Uh,
we're further down on the list of, on the discussion, right?
yeah, I think the next item is the host for future meetings.
Yeah. I can think of a name that might work.
Well,
Okay.
there's only a few options.
What are you talking about? On what?
Who's coming to host after,
I'm gonna host the
after
meeting.
April 30th?
Yeah.
Oh,
Were there any applicants for the open?
There is one applicant, I did circulate that.
It's Eleanor.
Yeah,
All we need is really one, so that's good.
So
Well,
I
you need
can,
to have
I can
seven.
say, I don't think I have the personality nor the patience to be a host of
You did.
this. Or let me rephrase it. I know I don't have the personality or patience,
Oh, good.
nor interest to
Well,
host.
Ken,
But other than that,
I know
Well-
myself better than you all, and it's true. So
Also-
and
so-
there's all the
sorry.
benefits that come with it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sure.
Well,
I
you-
don't.
Well, then you'll be perfect, Ken.
mm,
Ken likes being the co-host.
Yeah.
I don't even put my camera on during meetings. And
I know.
I'm muted for a
And
reason.
Haley, what happened to Haley? All I see is a name up there. What happened to her?
My camera doesn't always work. It just glitches out sometimes. Sometimes
Oh.
it doesn't work at all.
Okay.
Don't think it's a good idea.
All right, you can use that excuse for this one.
Well, once the appointments are done, you have to regroup anyways, so you'll just have to take a vote then.
Group or regroup.
I don't think
I
I
don't-
ever got voted to do
letting
this.
you know. A group or regroup, vote or vote no vote. It's not going to be pretty.
We done, Bob?
No, we're
So-
not done.
Continue that to the next meeting.
What's that?
The host, do you want me to continue that to the next meeting?
Well,
Yes.
we've got we're halfway, yeah, continue until the next meeting, we're halfway, yeah.
Why can't we discuss it now?
I'm sorry, I thought you were done. My mistake. Keep talking. I misunderstood.
So the appointments won't be effective until April.
May 1st is when the first,
Yeah, after after April
Yep.
30th, right, so.
and then
uh,
you're supposed to take a vote every time the appointments restart.
Really?
Yes, that's a requirement in the charter,
And
What do you
Judy,
mean?
if
What do you
they
mean by
get,
that, Judy?
that you vote for who's the chair, who's the vice chair. It's supposed to be a formal vote.
Wow.
Surprise.
So I could have got out of this like years ago?
Good experience.
Did we,
Yeah.
did we ever figure out the minimum amount of commissioners required for a commission?
yeah, we need 4.
Yeah, a quorum is a function of the number of members then sitting. So the number of members can decrease and you can still have a quorum.
But
It's
is
not
there
the
a-
number of positions, it's the number of members then sitting.
But the charter states that you have a 7-member commission. So that may conflict.
Doesn't the reg indicate
Well-
you need?
Yeah, the charter said that, yeah.
Elaine, so are you saying we're supposed to have 7 positions? If there's only 3 people there? I don't think you have, I don't think you have a quorum. I don't think you have a quorum.
Thought we had to have 4 for.
4.
It has to, it does.
You have to have 4, Elaine.
For a
Well,
quorum or for a
well,
commission?
under the Wetlands Protection Act, it is a number, it is the majority of the members then sitting. Under the charter, it's supposed to be 7. So if you fall below
4.
4, then you can't meet, presumably
Right.
under the charter,
Yeah, you don't have a commission at that point. It's
Right.
town council.
then you go to town council.
So as
So-
long as you have 4
so-
commission members, we're okay.
So that's. well,
As long
it's
as
a
all
easy
4
for you to
show
say.
up.
Well, that won't, you're not gonna have 4 for long.
Mm,
Well, right, but I'm sorry, with
With Eleanor's fine.
right.
Yeah.
Eleanor will be a 5th for now.
Well, providing she gets appointed, do we need a letter of recommendation?
Yeah, we should. We should
Yeah.
do an email to the town council saying that we fully support and endorse Eleanor's, being appointed as a member. And Judy, do you know when would they appoint her?
April. Sherry, I actually emailed Sherry on that. She replied back.
Wou-
They have
wouldn't
to
you
appoint her
wait-
before March. So
The
they do
town
it.
council will be appointing applicants at the April 8th meeting.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
So if you'd like to provide a recommendation, please email that to me no later than April 2nd.
But wouldn't you wait till
Like-
you get more than one applicant before you start endorsing one? Or you just,
They closed the application period.
No,
They
no,
closed it-
according,
they closed it for reappointments, but they'll have it open as long as there are openings on the commission.
right, that's what Sherry emailed.
Yeah, but yeah. I guess if people know about it, because it's not actively posted.
all right. We done.
So, yeah,
Just with
so
Bob.
we want to put a letter of recommendation together.
We have an old letter around that we could copy.
Do we want to do that before April 2nd, or do you want to do that now? I'm sorry.
Sooner the better, probably, so it's in their hands.
Get it out of the way, yeah.
Well, what if there's a sudden rush of people that want to be commissioners?
Good luck with that.
I think we're willing to risk it.
You'll have to get in
Okay,
line.
It's rainbows and unicorns, Jim.
Yep.
I can prepare that simple letter for Jim to sign.
Okay, thank you. I'll
All
have to
right.
have breakfast.
All right, so we're tabling the host for now. There's a note about in-person meetings added to this agenda.
Oh, yeah, because I texted Steve about it because I was trying to see if we could go with the regular meeting. And he told me that not this meeting, but possibly starting the next meeting, we're gonna go to that
Hybrid.
hybrid system. So I don't know if we should probably check in with him in the next 2 weeks to see how that's going.
Well, if you
And,
go with the hybrid, Jim can be the host at the in-person. But somebody would have to be behind the scenes. Ken could be behind the scenes with the,
Well, we could have it at town hall, right? Yeah, like you're
you
saying.
can. Whether
And
he does it on the tablet or remote, either one.
Right, as you say, Bob, it'd be behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but Jimmy would be acting as host, of the meeting.
Correct.
How do you feel about that, Ken?
it sounds all right.
Is your name Ken?
Do we have to, so who's gonna set up the computer? You're gonna set it up, Bob, right?
For a hybrid,
Yeah,
it's the tablet on the,
but you have to do what you did before when we had the meetings up to use.
yeah, successful once and unsuccessful once.
We should
I'm
probably
not sure
find
why.
someone, we should probably find someone to show us how to do it.
Yes. Sherry can do that.
And
Bob, did Steve Mayer say it's happening for the planning board and for the
I
board?
didn't ask him about anyone other than conservation.
Okay, Jim. Okay.
Yeah, so he didn't say definitely it was gonna be this way. He implied that to me that it was probably next meeting. We'd be able to use the hybrid.
Yeah, as long as the hybrid is offered, I don't see that there's any issue, providing there's not a conflict with that conference room.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because we've done it,
Hopefully
we've had
the,
hybrids.
reception will be better. Because the previous meetings you've had there, you can't hear most of it.
Right.
So I don't know how they're gonna fix that. That's the problem.
is there someone we can talk to there? Do you have an IT guy, right?
Yeah, no, I think they know, I think they're working on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the problem is the mic, is probably on the camera or on that. Yeah, it's probably on that camera
Right.
at the other end of the room.
Oh. Okay. Bob, are we done for the night or? what's
I
happening?
don't think so. Well, let's see. Elaine, do you have anything else?
I do just have an update on the Voc appeal,
Ah,
just as an FYI. Here, hold on, let me pull out the paperwork. Okay, so they have amended issues for adjudication. And issue 1 is whether the proposed project has been conditioned to meet the requirements of 10.531 for proposed work in the buffer zone. Issue 2, whether the proposed project has been conditioned to meet the requirements of 1055 3 and 4 for proposed work in the bordering vegetative wetland. And issue 3 is whether the proposed work as conditioned will meet the stormwater performance standards. So for the petitioners who are the representatives from the town, they're going to be calling in a John Chesia, who's an engineer, Doug Heath, in his capacity as a hydrogeologist,
Yeah,
and Professor Nathan Phillips as an ecologist for BU, and Christine Ryu as an environmental scientist. So the other thing is the schedule. And there's a whole series of dates for pre-filed testimony and the actual, let's see what we have here. So the date, I just have it here. So there will be a hearing date. Hold on 1 second. Oh, sorry, I had this. So there's a hearing date, I think in May, if anybody wants to attend. And there we go.
Is there work being done now? Have they resumed work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're doing well.
Have
Bob,
they
did
had
you
to stay
send-
away from the resource areas as a result of this, or what's the?
No, they're still working in the non-jurisdictional areas.
Right.
Okay,
They can't work in the jurisdictional
Right.
areas, right?
okay.
So there's a hearing, there's all sorts of deadlines. There's comments on the issue statements which have been done. The witness list has to be submitted. Pre-filed direct testimony, pre-filed direct and rebuttal testimony for both parties, petitioner's rebuttal testimony and supplemental memoranda of law. The hearing itself will be on May 9th. Down in Boston at 100 Cambridge Street from 10 to 5. So that's the latest update on the appeal on the vote.
Okay.
So Elaine, so from a time frame standpoint, that is taking place on May 9th. What would you expect to transpire? Like, would that all be done in one day or across multiple days?
You know, that's when it starts, 10 to 5. The whole thing may wrap up in a day. She or he, the hearing officer, has the pre-filed testimony, the rebuttal. Really, everything is already written in advance. And then I would assume there would be an opportunity for cross-examination. And I think the ones I've been to, they have the pre-filed testimony in writing, but yet people do stand up and testify and get cross-examined. So I would assume they would hope it would be over in a day. 10 to 5 is a long day.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, then it rolls over to another day after that.
And is there a timeline for the decision to be made after that, or?
No, that is the last time that's listed on this document is the day of the hearing itself. There's nothing listed after that. Now, I would assume that at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, when everybody's finished, she'll say something to the effect, you'll hear from me within 30, 60, or 90 days, whatever the case may be.
Interesting.
Yeah, it won't be immediate though.
I wouldn't think so. I think my experience, I've only done a few of these, but that they want time to think about it and write out a decision and give it the thought it deserves.
Right, makes sense.
And that decision can be appealed.
The final decision, I suppose at that point, I understand you can go to Superior Court.
Right.
But I don't think you get the kind of de novo review.
No,
you
no,
get
no. Yeah.
itself. You get, I think it's an appeal in certiorari, which is kind of, did everybody get due process?
It's interesting, the Superior Court acts like an appellate court in that regard. That's
Well,
interesting.
I think you can, that's my understanding. I've never seen one go to
I thought a Superior Court was a trial court.
It is a trial court, but I would assume it's in certiorari. It has a different set of standards.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I would be surprised if they would take it de novo. They don't have the technical expertise.
Right.
But as I said, I've never seen one go up that high.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Elaine.
Okay.
Judy, what about you? Anything?
If you have any comments on the open space plan or the list of properties, just get them to me by Friday, because I'd like to let them know as soon as possible.
Okay. All right, anything else from anybody? All right. Would somebody like to make a motion to close? To adjourn for the night?
Motion.
Second,
All right, all in favor?
Jesus.
Ken,
Sure, you didn't act that happy coming.
Ken, was that a yes?
That was a yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
yes.
and I also vote yes. All right, good night, everybody.
Good night, all.